Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I thought I'd share some of my analog photographs with you from my Sardina camera, which is a lomography camera. So it's an analog camera, not a digital one, so it uses film, and I did use ISO 400 I believe on what was quite a grey, miserable weather-wise day. It was actually my birthday, so we did have a really nice day, but unfortunately the weather didn't really play ball. I experimented a little bit with my multiple exposure and also with my close-up photography here. So I did a close-up image of some daffodils, and then I superimposed that onto a map of Bolton Abbey, which is a place that we went to for my birthday, and it's really a lovely kind of countryside feel, but it's an estate, so it has an old priory. The ruins of the priory are still there, and there's lots of kind of woodland walks that you can go on. So there was some really nice scenery that I could take some pictures of. My Sardina is an analog camera. You don't get the crispness, the sharpness. It doesn't have the scope that a modern digital camera would have. So really we should have taken our proper camera with us, because that's why we bought it, but we always just forget to take it. But I just really like the effect and the appearance of the analog cameras, and there's something quite nice about them. I think that they're not quite as crisp and sharp and perfected. So I really liked that picture that was just on, which was a picture that my boyfriend took of me with the priory in the background. This is a slightly closer shot of the ruins, although it's still quite difficult to make them out, like I said, because it's not quite as crisp as a modern digital image would be. But I really just like taking these pictures, and I like playing around with the camera and experimenting. I've been trying to experiment a bit more with the multiple exposures, with the different types of film that I've been using, and just always having a camera on me so that I can take the pictures and then just see what comes back. And it's always a bit of a surprise what's going to come back, because you never quite know how the images are going to have turned out, because obviously you can't see them at the time, and we're just so used to being able to see the images right then and there. It is a bit of a test of your patience, although to be honest you only have to wait a couple of days. In fact, you can get most films developed still within an hour, so it's not actually that much. It doesn't actually test you that much, although it still feels quite tough at times when you have to wait for the images to come back. With this camera, the Sardina, I bought it back in, I think it was like September or October time last year. I've used it a few times now. I've probably got about 4 or 5 rolls of film back for it, and I do really like it. It's really easy to use, it's very lightweight, it's very compact. It's pretty straightforward and simple, but unlike the other lomography cameras that I have, such as the Diana F or the Mini Diana, which are fun and experimentational, and you get really weird, quirky, unique images back, but they are so unreliable, they're so awkward. It's just really hard to do really basic things like just winding the film on properly. It never really seems to work. They just seem a bit like crappy cameras. They're just very cheap feeling and plasticky. The Sardina is also mainly a plastic camera, so it doesn't feel like it's a high quality construction necessarily, but it's so much better than the Diana cameras. I think it was maybe double or triple the price, so that's probably where the money has gone a little bit. But it's reliable and it's easy to use, and I have really been enjoying it. So I do recommend the Sardina definitely over the Diana, just because you would wait for the film to come back with the Diana, you'd pay for your development, and then you get the film back and it would all just be unusable images. And I know that people who follow the tenets of lomography and analog photography like experimental, interesting, quirky, weird images, and really like the surprise of never knowing what you're going to get back. But it is a bit frustrating when you spend the money on the film, you spend the money on the development, and then you just get like 2 pictures that are blurry and that's it. Anyway, I do like the Sardina, and I like these images, and I like having this kind of photography for my birthday pictures, as well as a bunch on my phone. I've got to be honest, I do have some other pictures as well, but this just to me is quite fun, and it's quite an interesting, unique thing to do, and I like having it as a hobby. So I hope that you've enjoyed seeing some of these images from my most recent film that I got back from the Sardina. If you have, do please leave me a like below and leave a comment. If you have any tips or anything related to photography, particularly analog photography, then please let me know. And as always, if you'd like to see more of these videos, plus the other videos that I make, crafts and planning, etc., please subscribe.